Hey guys, Master Rando here. I'm hoping you have a fantastic weekend, and I wanted to kind of walk you through exactly what things are going to look like this upcoming week when we reopen our doors for the first time due to a mandatory shutdown, obviously. Hopefully you're surviving COVID, and I'm happy to get back to some comfort and some familiarity here at the studio, but I wanted to take some time. By now you should have received your packet in the mail. If you haven't, please call the studio, leave your email address, or talk to one of our representatives. We will send you out a PDF version of the directives and protocol immediately, so you will be better prepared to come into class this week, okay? First and foremost, can't wait to see you. Okay, before we get into all this craziness, we want to tell you that we are excited that you will be rejoining us, and we have been preparing for such. We've done upgrades left and right. We are sanitized, we are safe, and we cannot wait to serve our community. Now, things will start right from when you pull in, okay? So we're gonna go with a 1 o'clock fictitious class start, okay? So if your class starts on Saturday at 1 o'clock, this is what would happen. First of all, just like normal, you don't want to be late for class. We'll talk about exactly what happens, but you're going to want to get here at least 15 minutes, 10 minutes before. And when you pull into our lot, you want to stay inside of your vehicle. Stay in the car until 5 minutes before your class. So at 12:55, what you're going to do is you're going to start to line up. Now, if it's raining, stay in your car and just wait. And if you see people in front of you, just stay in your car, okay? Obviously, there's not an awning. We don't have that, so we don't want you standing in the rain. So umbrellas or something like that. Also, standing outside in the sun potentially could affect the temperature when we go ahead and use the temperature gun on your forehead, okay? You're gonna wait, and all of our sidewalks here, we're poured squares. So it's one family per square if you do have to wait. And once the family is in front of you, you just move to the next square. Boom. Once it's finally your turn, okay, or the person in front of you goes, okay, what you're gonna do is our receptionist is gonna come out and they're gonna use the temperature gun. It looks just like this, okay? They're gonna turn it on, and of course, they're gonna go ahead and read a temperature. They're not gonna touch your forehead with it. It's just a sight, boom, okay? And you're gonna get, mine's 97.2. Means I need to drink a little more Mountain Dew today or something, okay? That means it's safe for me to enter. If anyone in your party has a temperature of 100 degrees or higher, we unfortunately cannot let anyone in the party in. So if you have a temperature, you're not feeling well, please stay at home. We can make up that class during a different time or during a different private lesson, okay? So just make sure that you feel good before you come. Every member of your family feels good. We want to keep you safe, obviously. By the way, the CDC requirement is 100 degrees.4. Ours is 100. Okay, so if you're unsure about how safe that we take your safety, just know that we're exceeding expectations and standards here, okay? So here's the deal. If you're first in line and you get here first, okay, please do not enter the building until instructed otherwise. Our receptionist and team member will come out and say, okay, time to do temperatures, and then one at a time we'll do screenings, okay? Now, once you're clear to come in, what will happen is if you have an odd birthday, and that's the day, okay, on the first class of the week for mainstream students, you're going to be able to watch, okay? Even birthdays is the second class of the week. If you're a little dragon family, it's one person, one adult per little dragon. So you don't have to alternate. We definitely want the little guys and little girls to have some adult representation there. It's just one. Now, what happens about little siblings? You can bring them. 2 and younger don't have to have a mask. Siblings that are 3 and older, they do, okay? Just kind of keep that in mind, all right? Once you come in, okay, like normal, what we normally do is at this point we go to the front desk, okay? We take our shoes off and we go to the front desk. So we're not gonna do that, okay? So what's gonna happen is we come in, we're gonna take our shoes off, we're gonna put them in our hands. Kids take their shoes off, put them in their hands. We're gonna skip the front desk, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and enter the main studio, all right? If you're a regular student, you know when we hit this door, we're gonna bow. Now, we have several points around the studio where we have hand sanitizer, okay? Basically, I've invested in some stock in this, and we have, I don't know, I want to say $1,000 worth of stuff. I mean, it's everywhere, okay? So it's for your safety. Sanitize up, make sure that you feel comfortable, and of course, we've exceeded the standards there of making sure the alcohol content in the sanitizers is good, all right? When you come in, you know to bow at the door. So we bow, okay? Again, items in hand, and we come on in. If you're a little dragon parent and a little dragon family, what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a spot to sit, okay? So if I come over here, I see an empty chair. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all my belongings, including shoes, keys, purses, on top of this lid, okay? This is where all the stuff goes, okay? course, if I'm the adult, I sit here. If I have a little dragon, they're going to sit on this side of me, waiting patiently for class. If I'm a mainstream student, okay, no need to bring sparring gear because we're not going to be sparring. Okay, so what I'm going to do if I'm a mainstream student is I'm going to find one of those hand sanitizer stations once my parent is sat and all my belongings are here, again, not touching the floor. I'm going to go ahead and squirt up, hand sanitize up, and I'm going to find a blue warm-up spot on the floor. Okay, so again, little dragon families, little dragon's going to sit to my right, okay, until it's time and we are called out. Little dragons will be sanitized before every class. Okay, they've got to get the hand sanitizer, then they're going to come out, they're going to warm up in the yellow spots on the floor, and then we go ahead and move them up to the actual class spot of the floor. Okay, and again, that's further up towards where the flag is or the other side of our training floor. Okay, so mainstream students, they can go out on the floor and lightly start to warm up. Remember, you're still 5 minutes before. So this is going to happen at 11:55. Again, fictitious class. We start letting people in. 11:58, 11:59, you're seated. Okay, mainstream students go to the blue spot of the floor and they're going to start to warm up. Okay, little dragon students are waiting here until the instructor calls them out. Okay, everybody sanitizes before they come onto the floor. Now, we talked about evens and odds parents being able to observe. So let's say you have an even birthday, but it's a night for odd mainstream parents to watch. That means that you have an even birthday. That means mom and dad are not coming in, okay? So they can wait with you outside when they take the temperature check, then they can go back in the car, okay? They cannot come in if it's not their night to watch. Again, this is for mainstream students only, all right? So that means that you would come in and you wouldn't sit down because you're a mainstream student. And you would have your shoes and you would have maybe your phone if you're a little bit older, something like that, okay? So what you're gonna do at that point is if I have my stuff and I'm a student without a parent, then I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna stand right at the edge of the mat, right at the training space, and I'm gonna flag down a black belt, okay? The black belt is then gonna take the stuff or direct you on where to put your stuff. Your things, your items are gonna be up here, okay? So what happens at the front of the room, because you will be dismissed first from class if you do not have a parent, your things will gonna be in this area up here. These bins will have been sanitized, okay, and Lysol from the last people, okay, the last class, all your stuff goes in here, okay? So if you're a little older, keys, phone, shoes, that way you also can keep an eye on those items so they don't get misplaced, okay? All right, so what happens if you're a little dragon student? Again, everybody sanitizes up prior to class. Okay, when we call you out, if you haven't sanitized yet, you're going to come out on the red or the yellow spot, excuse me, and then we're going to warm up just like regular class, and then we're going to go ahead and do all the exercise for class. It will still be just like normal, okay? So we're going to have a monthly theme, we're going to do stripes, we're going to do the life words, the whole deal, okay? It's just we're going to be spaced out a little bit more and a little bit more time in smaller groups, okay? And for little dragon students, that's pretty much it, all right? Now, mainstream students, we're going to line up again on the blue warm-up area, which will be at the edge of the mat, okay, and it will have been sanitized prior to the last class warm-up, which would have ended in our fictitious class at 12:15. When at 12:15, the class before ours would have went to the main training space. I know I'm maybe confusing a little bit. So at the 1 o'clock time, we're going to spend 15 minutes from 1 to 1:15 in the blue warm-up area. This is for mainstream students. Then we're going to go ahead and we graduate to the red active class area. Okay? Now, while you're in the red active class area, which is in the middle of the floor, our staff is then going to go back and sanitize all the blue warm-up area. Okay? So that has time to dry prior to the next class that would fictitiously start at 2 o'clock. Okay? So when the class ends, and again, Little Dragons classes are 35 minutes. Mainstream classes are 45 minutes, okay? We have shrunk the class time slightly to allow for the extra cleaning that is going to be required to make sure that we clean between each class, all right? So what happens is, in a Little Dragons class, we'll dismiss in small groups, okay? If I'm still seated back there where we were when I originally came in, my child has done the class, now they come to me, we collect our belongings, and what will happen is we'll make our way all the way down here on the carpeted area. Okay, again, using social distancing, okay, and I walk all the way down here, and I get to the edge of the training space area, and then I'm going to walk this way, all the way down this white area right here. So the white area on the floor is the safe area that me as a parent and a spectator can walk through until we get to the seating area here, okay? And of course the seating area, you sit down, you put your shoes on, collect your stuff, okay? And you're gonna go out this door right here, okay? Now, if I am a mainstream student, we are gonna start dismissing, again, in our fictitious class time at 1:45. We are gonna dismiss first with all the students that don't have parents in the building. Okay, now we're not just gonna say, okay, everybody doesn't have a mom and dad, you're out. I'm not gonna do that because of course that wouldn't be safe, okay? So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a black belt back here by this door, right back here. The door is right by our weight bench, and it's also gonna be right next to our area that has our private lesson space, okay? So there's gonna be a black belt right here by this door. And what they're gonna have is a clipboard. And they are going to be opening the door, looking for parents of all the people in the 1 o'clock class that are coming to pick them up at 1:45. So they're going to look up here and say, okay, Mrs. Smith, okay, takes care of Timmy. All right, Mrs. Shelton, yep, he's here, okay, good. Mrs. Jones, excellent, good. Your son's doing great today, good. 1:45 when it's time to dismiss, black belt's going to walk over here. Mrs. O'Connor's going to say, okay, black belt, okay, who has a parent waiting? And they're going to go ahead and dismiss the parents that are out here waiting for their children. They're going to collect their items from the bin up front, and we're going to go ahead and dismiss them to parents that we have seen. We're not going to release any children out that don't have parents waiting for them, okay? So they collect their items, and then they're out. Okay, everybody else that has parents in here, again, we dismiss in small groups using social distancing to walk up the runway, or the walkway, I should say, put on their items, and then go ahead and go out for class. Now, if this all happens at 1:45, by the time everybody's out of here, that's about 1:50. So what's going to happen between 1:50 and 2 o'clock when the 2 o'clock class starts? Well, that's easy. Now, the blue warm-up area was already sanitized. It was sanitized at 1:15 to 1:20 when the class was out on the red activity area, okay? But now, the red activity area, which potentially was contaminated, it needs to be cleaned. So in that extra time, we're now going to go ahead and sanitize the middle of the floor, okay? And of course, we have done extensive research on what actually kills bacteria, what dries quickly. I mean, look, this process, as you can probably imagine, it took months to put together, okay? And we've done it strictly for your safety and your comfort. So that's kind of what happens before the next class comes in. The training area is cleaned. The warm-up area was already finished earlier, halfway through the class, and every single chair is going to be wiped down. Every top where you put your shoes and your purse and your personal items is going to be Lysol. So everything is going to be sanitized. Now, you told me earlier, Master Rando, that when I came in, I was supposed to skip the front desk, okay? So I'm seated here, but it's the first of the month, and it's time for me to pay tuition, or I want to get a uniform, or I want to order a Christmas present, right? During the class, our front desk reception team will call each family out one at a time to go ahead and conduct individual business, the front desk. Please do not go to the front desk until they call you out, okay? And we'll make sure that we take care of you one at a time, again, using social distancing in our lobby, okay? The lobby restroom will be closed, so if you have to use the restroom, we ask that you use the one in the main floor, okay? There's a men's and ladies restroom right over here next to our new cabinetry, okay? Again, using social distancing and washing your hands. Yes, men, gotta wash your hands after you go tinkle, sprinkle, okay? One other thing on the short term is when you come in, you don't want to put your mask on until you have been, or your shield on until you have been temperature screened, okay? We found is that if you're out running around in the heat, or you're standing outside for long periods of time outside, it potentially could affect your reading. So you don't want to put that mask on, getting yourself overheated outside, especially as we get into these warmer months where it could affect your temperature. Okay, we have 2 guns and an oral thermometer. So we promise the reading that we're giving you is as accurate as we can make it. Okay, so once you're in the building for the short term, you will need to wear a mask or a shield at all times. Every single person. Okay, so make sure that you come prepared and be ready if you're going to be a spectator to keep your mask or shield on. Secret tip, the shields are 1,000 times better. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, now, a couple things. During the class, for those that are wearing those cloth masks, it's going to get hot. It's going to get irritable. We understand. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to keep you working and motivated so you don't really feel that. But the second thing is we're going to keep the building as cold as we can. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to be cold in here. It's going to be July. How cold are we talking? Are we talking like 63, 64? No, but it's going to be in the high 60s, okay, in this building. So if you're a spectator and you get cold easily, I know it sounds weird, but in August, you might need to bring in a sweatshirt or a light jacket. So we want you to feel comfortable when you're sitting here, but who's the most important part of this equation, okay? It's not me. Unfortunately, Mom and Dad, it's not you. Okay, it's whoever's on this floor. It always has been, it always will be. That's why we build confident leadership. Okay? We start individualized attention. VIP, very individualized person. Okay, just a couple more things, okay? And I know this video is long, but I promise we can power through together, okay? First thing, parent lounge is closed. Okay, so unfortunately, there's no way we'd be able to sanitize between each guest or each person that comes in. So unfortunately, the parent lounge is going to be closed. So if you bring younger siblings, okay, they're going to have to be beside you, entertained. So kind of remember that, kind of keep that in mind. Second, that we ask that you please advise your children not to pick at the spots on the mat. Okay, they're specifically and strategically laid out all over the floor using social distancing. Kind of looks like a giant checkerboard in here. So please just tell them not to pick. I know it's tough, but you just want to remind them, hey, don't pick at the floor, okay? Because that's a pet peeve of mine anyway. So just be careful about that. Also, the last class of the night. So just so you know, if you have the last class of the night or the last class on Saturday, you will not have to use this exit over here. Okay, this might take a little bit of getting used to. So that fictitious 1 o'clock class that we were talking about earlier, it potentially is the last class on Saturday. So you wouldn't have to use the alternative exit down the walkway. Okay, you can go ahead and use the exit and entrance because there's no one coming in after you. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also then, last but not least, when you do exit our normal exit for the short term, there will be children going outside of that door. So please exercise caution if you're down in that lot driving, and just make sure that you're being on the lookout for little ones. We don't want an accident because we're not quite used to kids being at certain places, okay? 2 more things before we go. 1, we are gonna try to have as many classes as we can outside. If we're outside in that upper lot or in the upper grass area, we don't have to have masks, okay? We don't have to have hand sanitize. I mean, we can just have some fun. We can just get back to what you're used to here, which is great interactive classes. But unfortunately, Mother Nature and a heat wave, or this is Frostburg, a snowstorm can all affect that, okay? And also, we are limited on how to keep our equipment clean and properly taken care of outside. But we're gonna do our best, and we're altering class lesson plans accordingly, all right? The last thing is, we know this is a huge change. We know that our lives have been completely disrupted by a virus that we didn't create or have anything to do with. In fact, as somebody that is used to inspiring people and building leadership and confidence and teaching martial arts, I am constantly have to reimagine the way we do it because of a problem that I didn't create. And you'll never hear me say that it's not fair. Okay? Because I think in every setback and every hurdle can be an opportunity for growth. It can be a trampoline or a crutch. And I choose the trampoline. I choose to look at things just with a smile on my face. And you know what? It's going to be okay. But if you deep down in your soul do not believe that we didn't do a thorough enough job of keeping you safe, down from the type of pens that you use, which by the way, we have a clean pen container and a contaminated pen container, to the way that we collect money. Yes, we do have a screen out front to keep you safe and to keep our receptionists safe. If you don't feel like that we've done a thorough enough job of keeping you safe, or maybe you don't agree with something that we've done, wholeheartedly to your soul where you're offended, we're asking that you please stay home. And it's really hard for me to say that because I know the work we've put in, and I know that we're exceeding any standard that anybody will put out there other than a hospital. But if you don't feel in your heart it's right to be here, please don't come back for the short term. When things change, you know where to find us. It'll be the same class, same smiles, the same support that you're getting each and every week. We just want you to feel comfortable being in this building. We want you to leave with a smile. We want that warm feeling in your heart. And hopefully you know that we care. It's more than just kicking and punching, I learned this many weeks ago when I did the Day of Encouragement. follow us on Facebook. It was a video I did a couple Tuesdays ago, and I said, listen, today's the day I want to encourage you. If you need encouragement today, please send me a private message. Tell me what you need encouragement with, okay? And I'll be happy to send you a personalized video. I thought maybe like 8, 9 people would do that. Hundreds of people reached out, and they said, I need you to help me with this. I need encouragement on this task. Those videos went all out over the country. It kind of blew me away. I was being asked to give encouragement by people that I didn't know, for people that I didn't know. And when I peel back that layer and I say, okay, wow, people are hurting. It's not just that they are physically not able to do martial arts. It's that they need interaction. They need humans. They need people to care for them again. I know that when I feel that and I see that, I know that we need to open. It's almost like a necessity. I need to open for multiple reasons, but I just want you to know that that day right there, it changed my outlook. And I know deep down, and I've always known, that we do more than just kicks and punches because we build confident leadership. But here lately, I realize we build connections in people that need it. And we're, whether you're a black belt or not, we're an area of hope, an area of family, an area of connection that people are missing, thirsty for. Man, we need to open, because I'm afraid if we don't, and places like ours don't open soon, that there's going to be severe psychological damage to people. And I'm already seeing it, and I've already lived it through a day of encouragement. So, before I go, I just want to thank all of you that are watching, and if you made it this far in the video, it's a long one, but I just want to thank you. It's not been an easy 3 months for me, especially as somebody that thrives on what I call human fuel. And I just want to say I'm proud of how we handled things. And we're going to make mistakes. And we just ask for your grace. Ask that you continue to support us in any way that you can, and that you've become accustomed to. And come back and see us. The studio is not open for new students, at least through June. And if you've paid for the month of March, the next 2 weeks are on us. If you didn't pay for March, then just see the front desk, they'll take care of you. Also, if you're on Patreon and you paid the Patreon membership for June, classes for the next 2 weeks are free. They're on us. Just a little thing that we can do to give back. Just a little bit of warmth to send your way in a world that just been a little gray lately. So if you have any questions, drop them down below. You can call the studio. You can ask for me personally, okay? I can't tell you I can get back to you right away, but I promise this coming week is going to be great, especially if you're sitting in one of these chairs or you're out on this floor. In the meantime, be safe, guys. Always smile.